CS Ukur Yattani is expected to launch the second survey on the effect of COVID-19 on the country's economy. Let's cruise over live and listen in.
This one, not for this place. Are we ready? Huh? Na leo kuna maswali? Eh? Yeah. Maybe before I formally start, I want to prepare you that we are only launching one report. The second one on COVID we apologize. We want to invite you possibly tomorrow or Wednesday. That's okay? Eh? Kama umetengeneza maswali hiyo mtaweka mpaka siku nyingine. I'm ready to start. Members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Let me take this opportunity to welcome you to this ceremony, from wherever you are, those present here with me and those tuned in virtually. As you know that this is a new norm of now conducting business, there are many who are tuned to this press conference from other locations, and we really appreciate. The reality of the COVID-19 pandemic is with us, and we have to adapt ourselves to doing things differently. The report we are launching today is the second since the adoption of the SDGs in 2015, having prepared the first one in 2017, and the first one to be launched virtually. Ladies and gentlemen, the National Treasury and Planning, through the State Department for Planning, is mandated to coordinate the implementation, monitoring, and review of the SDGs in Kenya. To enhance effectiveness and efficiency, the State Department for Planning prepares progress reports of the implementation of the SDGs in the country. It also prepares voluntary national reviews, which are part of the follow-up and review of the Agenda 2030 for Sustainable Development. The voluntary national review is a process through which countries assess and present progress made in achieving the global goals and the pledge to leave no one behind. The reviews are voluntary, state-led, and undertaken by both developed and developing countries. They provide a platform for partnerships of the various stakeholders, allow for sharing of experiences, successes, challenges, and lessons learned with a view to accelerating the implementation of the 2030 agenda. The reports are shared with the other UN member states during the high-level political forum held at the UN annually. Since the adoption of the Agenda 2015, 120 reviews have been made at the high-level political forum. In 2020, 51 countries, 28 first-time presenters, 22 second-time presenters, and 1 third-time presenter will present their national voluntary reviews to the high political forum. Kenya is among the 22 second-time presenters. The voluntary review presentation will be done virtually and are planned on Friday, 10th July 2020, and Kenya is scheduled to present her report on 13th July 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, the process of preparing this VNR was consultative. The State Department for Planning led the process and adopted the whole of government and whole of society approach. Various stakeholders, including government, CSOs, development partners, private sector, human rights institutions, academia, and youth organizations, among others, were involved in the process. This has provided the various stakeholders with an opportunity to contribute to 2020 VNR for Kenya. This report covers progress made in the creation of an enabling environment for the SDGs implementation, as well as progress on all the 17 goals since the first VNR report in 2017. The report also identifies the challenges and recommends the way forward. The mainstreaming of the SDGs in the planning and budgeting frameworks at both the national and the county levels, the continuous awareness and capacity building programs position the country to better implement the SDGs. During the period 2017-2019, progress was made in SDG 3 that concerns health, SDG 4 on education, SDG 6 on provision of clean water and sanitation, goals to access energy, SDG 11, ensuring sustainable cities. The government continues to implement social protection programs across the country with the aim of ensuring that all Kenyans live in dignity and exploit their human resource capabilities for social and economic development. In addition, during the same period, the percentage of skill deliveries increased from 61% in 2016-17 to 65% in 2018-2019. At the same time, the proportion of pregnant women attending antenatal clinic visits increased from 48% to 50% in 2018-2019. In the education sector, the net enrollment rates in primary education has taken an upward trend. The number of pupils enrolled in public primary schools increased from 8,896,932 in 2017-18 and increased to 8,959,719 in 2018-2019. There was an increase in the proportion of households who safely managed sanitation services from 65.7% in 2016 to 82.5% in 2019. The percentage of population with access to electricity rose from 41.5% in 2016 to 46% in 2018 and increased further to 50.4% in 2019. The country has set an ambitious plan to achieve universal access rate to electricity by the year 2022. Kenya is undertaking measures to promote sustainable cities and human settlements. The measures include formulation and review of various policies and regulations, including amendment of the Urban Areas and Cities Act by Parliament in 2017. All county governments have adopted and implemented local disaster risk reduction strategies in line with the national disaster risk reduction strategies. Other measures undertaken include protection, restoration, and promotion of sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystem, sustainable management of forests, combating desertification, and halting and reversing land degradation. Kenya embarked on afforestation programs where the forest area has a proportion of total area increased from 7.2% in 2016 to 7.2% in 2018. Kenya's economic growth rate increased gradually from 5.9% in 2017 to 6.3% in 2018. It, however, dropped to 5.4% in 2019. However, a number of goals, targets, and indicators needs to be fast-tracked as they are still lagging behind. They include poverty reduction, reduction in maternal mortality, malaria and non-communicable diseases, unemployment, some gender-related indicators, and environmental degradation, among others. Moving forward, more efforts will be required to address these goals, targets, and indicators. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenya is also targeting initiatives aimed at enhancing domestic resource mobilization that is critical in the implementation of SDGs. Towards this, Kenya is focusing on building the capacity of the Kenya Revenue Authority to increase tax to GDP ratio. An integrated national financing framework that improves the effectiveness of development cooperation and matching plans, strategies, and resources is also in place. Ladies and gentlemen, the key challenges to the implementation of SDGs in Kenya include inadequate funding, inadequate timely and disaggregated data, and inadequate capacity. COVID-19 has also adversely affected several sectors, such as education, health, tourism, agriculture, manufacturing, and trade. This has affected the livelihood of the most vulnerable groups and wiped out many SDG gains. Kenya is following whole of government and whole of society approach to tackle the pandemic. The National Emergency Response Committee of COVID-19 is taking the necessary measures to address the pandemic in the short term, while the economic recovery strategy under preparation will be handling at the medium term. The responsibility of coordinating implementation and tackling of SDGs is led by the government. However, the implementation of the same is shared responsibility among all stakeholders. The government acknowledges that implementation of the SDGs is a concerted effort involving a host of different stakeholders and will continue engaging them during implementation, follow-up, and review. It is only through a cohesive, collaborative, and concerted effort of all stakeholders that Kenya will make good progress towards meeting these goals and targets. Moving forward, the report we are launching today will be disseminated to stakeholders and action plan developed to address the identified gaps and challenges in order to accelerate the achievement of the SDGs and raising awareness. This process will also help in strengthening dialogue with the stakeholders that is critical in the implementation of the SDGs during the decade of action. Finally, as I conclude, allow me to thank members of the Interagency Technical Committee who greatly contributed to the preparation of this report, as I commend the good work by SDG Coordination Directorate in the State Department of Planning for spearheading this process, and the overall guidance of the PS, Saitoti and his team, the Principal Secretary, for providing leadership to the 2020 VNR process. With those remarks, allow me to thank you all for finding time to be with us as we launch the 2020 VNR for Kenya. Thank you very much. Maybe I think before I now formally launch the report, I can allow one question.
That is Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yattani talking about giving a report on the second report on the voluntary national review when it comes to Kenya's implementation of sustainable development goals. And we are seeing that the education sector, health, and electricity has improved, while some of the sectors that are lagging behind in the country when it comes to the SDGs is gender issues. But of concern is when it comes to the implementation, the challenges that the country is facing when it comes to implementation of the SDGs in the country is matters to do with the effect of COVID-19, and that has enabled the vulnerable groups in the country not to get the access of the available resources. And the Ukur Yattani says that the COVID-19 emergency committee that has been set up by the government is really working hard to ensure that the vulnerable in the community continue getting some of the financial resources that the government is giving. But Ukur Yattani has also talked about something really important: inadequate funding to ensure that the SDGs is implemented. And of course, he said that tomorrow we'll be getting another report when it comes to the effect of COVID-19 on the country's economy. My name is Brenda Zederadido. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again tomorrow, same time, same place. God bless. Lofty Matambo up next with Leo Mashinani. Keep it KTN News.